We've seen heartbreak and betrayal before on the cobbles, but next week it feels like everything's coming to a head again. Secrets are surfacing, tempers are snapping, and for some of our favourites, life in Weatherfield may never be the same. There's love, guilt, danger, and even a little hope tucked between the drama. But make no mistake, the street's about to get messy. So grab a cuppa, settle in, and let's talk through what's coming up on Coronation Street from Monday the 20th to Friday the 24th of October.
Lisa and Becky, caught in the moment. Let's start with Lisa Swain and Becky because that whole situation is getting seriously intense. We've all watched Lisa trying to hold her family together, keeping things steady with Carla while worrying about Betsy's wild streak, but Becky's return has thrown everything off balance. This week, Becky's finally found a way to fight back. She shows Lisa proof that Betsy was framed, handing her a flash drive that could change everything. You can imagine the look on her face, part relief, part fury. When she storms into the station to confront D.I. Costello, she absolutely tears into him. Years of frustration and guilt all spill out in one explosive showdown. It's powerful stuff, and it's about time someone stood up to him. And then comes the quiet moment. Lisa and Becky sitting together later on, the tension's starting to fade. You can feel all the history between them. It's complicated, emotional, and still full of love, even if neither of them can admit it properly. But of course, this is Corrie. Just as they finally drop their guard, Roy wanders in, and it looks like he might have seen a bit more than he should have. I can already hear the gossip brewing at Roy's rolls. Honestly, this could be one of those storylines that lingers for months. If Lisa's heart starts to shift again, Carla's engagement might be in danger, and you know how fans feel about Carla getting hurt.
Now, let's talk about Betsy, because this young woman never does things by halves. After everything that's happened, she's more determined than ever to leave Weatherfield behind. Next week, Betsy starts planning for a brand new life in Spain. She's all excited, chatting away to Becky about sunshine, fresh starts, and finally being free of the mess they've been living in. It's the kind of dream only someone her age could cling to after so much chaos. Becky, still shaken from her showdown with Costello, gives in and takes Betsy shopping. Bags, clothes, new shoes, the works. It's a rare happy moment between them, like a mum and daughter pretending the world isn't falling apart. But when Lisa walks in later and sees the mountain of shopping bags, she knows something's up. And when she realises Betsy's skipped work, it hits her. They're planning to run. This is where things could blow up again. Lisa's torn between protecting her daughter and holding on to the life she's built with Carla. Becky's promising safety abroad, but Lisa's got roots here now. It's a storm waiting to break, and something tells me not everyone will make the same choice when it comes to leaving Weatherfield behind. 3. Theo loses control. Meanwhile, Theo's temper is starting to scare people. Todd's been trying so hard to keep things calm, forgiving him, giving him another chance, even cutting ties with Billy to keep the peace. But it's never enough for Theo. Next week, his jealousy flares up again when he crosses paths with Pete, the client he once slept with, to spite Todd. Pete's smug attitude sets him off, and before long, Theo's lashing out in public. Gary ends up stuck in the middle, trying to keep the peace, but the damage is done. Pete storms off, the deal's ruined, and Gary's business takes a hit. You can imagine the fallout. Maria's fuming, Todd's mortified, and Theo's pretending he's the victim. But it's later in the week when things get darker. After Todd accidentally ruins Theo's brand new car, first a milkshake spill, then a scratch while parking, Theo's mask slips completely. Out in public, he laughs it off, all charm and smiles. But back at the flat, he explodes. Todd's left shaken, scrambling to make things right. But there's no pleasing a man like Theo. It's that classic Corrie domestic tension, the kind where you just know something's going to break. Viewers might remember how controlling Theo's been before, but this time it feels worse. And honestly, seeing Todd stuck in that cycle again is heartbreaking. He deserves better, and you can't help but wonder how long before Billy steps back into the picture to help him. 4. Bernie and Gemma's revenge plan. Now, over at number 7, Bernie and Gemma are heading straight into trouble. They've never been ones to think things through, and next week proves it again. Asha's still trying to rebuild her confidence after everything Naomi did, and Dev's doing his best to help, but he's smothering her without realizing it. You can tell his heart's in the right place, but every time he fusses, Asha pulls further away. When Kit mentions Naomi's violent past, Bernie and Gemma get it into their heads that they need to teach her a lesson, and that's where it all goes wrong. They head to the bistro, Gemma sits herself at Naomi's table, and Bernie starts filming, waiting for Naomi to snap. Toya spots what's happening and tries to stop them, but by the time Dev gets there, it's chaos. Naomi loses her temper, Gemma shouts, and Bernie catches the whole thing on camera. It's classic Corrie comedy meets tragedy, but when that video spreads, it's anything but funny. Asha's mortified, Dev's heartbroken, and to top it off, Ardi finds out all the way from India. That guilt hits Bernie hard. You can tell she wanted to protect her family, but instead she's just made things worse. It's one of those storylines that reminds us Corrie always mixes the humour with the heartbreak. If you're still watching and you're loving these updates, don't forget to hit subscribe and give the video a quick like. It really helps other Corrie fans find us and keeps the channel growing. All right, let's get back to the drama. Moving on to number 5, Hope's new crush. Over at the salon, things take a lighter turn, though knowing Hope, it won't stay light for long. Bethany's settling into her new job, and for once it seems like she's found her groove. She's chatting to Hope, doing her nails, and for a minute, it almost feels peaceful. But then social media gets involved. Hope posts a picture of her new manicure and the nasty comments come flooding in. Poor kid can't catch a break. That's when Jake, yes, little Jake, steps up with a joke that actually makes her laugh. There's an awkward age gap, sure, but you can see that first spark of teenage crush awkwardness. Fans might remember Hope's fiery temper and all the chaos she's caused in the past, so seeing her blush instead of biting back is actually kind of sweet. Whether it turns into romance or trouble remains to be seen. But this could be Corrie giving Hope a softer side, and honestly, it's overdue. Now let's move over to The Undertakers, where George is trying his best to juggle everything. He's been working non-stop, and Christina's starting to worry. When she catches him nodding off at his desk, she decides to help by answering his phone, which, knowing Christina, probably makes things worse. Then her day gets even worse when she finds out she's being evicted. Before she's even finished explaining, George jumps in and offers her a room at number 11, Todd's old one. You can tell he means well, but Glenda's face says it all. She's not impressed, reminding George that once the new pub owners move in, she might be the one needing a place to stay. Typical sibling moment that. Love underneath, but plenty of bickering on the surface. Still, there's something lovely about George's kindness. He's got such a good heart, even if it lands him in awkward situations. And I reckon Christina's stay at number 11 will bring a few surprises, especially if she starts interfering in George's work life again. Right, now on to Abby, because she's facing one of her toughest choices yet. Money's tight, her marriage is falling apart, and temptation's creeping in. She overhears Carl scheming about stealing a car, and at first she's disgusted. But when she finds that car later, sitting in the Freshco car park, you can see the conflict all over her face. Abby's been down this road before. We all remember the mistakes, the lies, the fights for redemption. So watching her stare at that car, wondering if she should just take it and solve her problems in one go, it's painful. But Corrie wouldn't be Corrie without someone watching. Debbie's been suspicious, and it looks like she's followed Abby right there. The question is, will Debbie catch her before she makes another bad decision?
Or could Abby surprise us all and walk away this time? Either way, this story's bringing Abby back into the spotlight, and that's always good news for viewers. Sally Carmen Dartine never misses a beat with those emotional scenes.
8. Fizz gets a fright. And finally, we've got Fizz and Tyrone, because even when they're trying to keep things calm, trouble finds them. They've agreed to meet Cassie for lunch at the bistro, trying to build some bridges after all the drama, but it doesn't exactly go smoothly. Tyrone's still struggling with his injury, feeling frustrated and embarrassed, especially with Nick fussing over him in the wheelchair. It all gets too much, and in a flash of temper, Tyrone throws his plate to the floor. Poor Fizz just looks heartbroken. You can tell she wants to support him, but she's walking on eggshells. And then, as if things couldn't get any worse, Fizz realises her handbag's gone. The shock on her face says it all. A man bolts for the door, Ollie jumps up to chase him, proper chaos in the bistro again. But the real emotion hits when Tyrone sits there powerless to help. For a man like him, who's always wanted to protect his family, that moment of helplessness cuts deep. It's a small scene, but one that will stay with us. Corrie's always been good at that, finding the real emotion in everyday moments. So there you have it. 8 big storylines that are about to make next week on Coronation Street one of the most dramatic yet. From Becky and Lisa's growing closeness, to Theo's dangerous temper, to Fizz and Tyrone's heartbreak. It's all there. Love, anger, guilt, and those little moments that remind us why we've watched this show for decades. If you've made it this far, thank you for sticking with me. And now it's your turn. What storyline are you most excited about? Do you think Lisa's feelings for Becky are coming back, or will she stay loyal to Carla? And will Abby give in to temptation again, or finally break the cycle? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love hearing what everyone thinks before the episodes air. And if you enjoyed this spoiler chat, don't forget to like the video, subscribe and hit the little bell so you don't miss next week's updates. Until then, take care, keep watching, and let's see what the Cobbles have in store next.